and family who love them. 46-year-old Sharon Conyers, 39-year-old Almacio Martinez Oliveira, 92-year-old James Mitchell, and 93-year-old Francis Pilkington. Their loss is a tragedy and a tremendous weight on all of us. Many people across the city are working alongside us to ensure that we don't have any further loss of life. I used the term Nashville Strong yesterday, and while two words are inadequate to fully capture anything about this moment, there is true strength in the resilience I see in Nashville every time we have a natural disaster. Neighbors help neighbors. We check on one another. We bring our chainsaws, our shovels, and our hearts to the aid of anyone that needs it. That's powerful, and ultimately more powerful than any ice storm can be. The ice will melt, spring will come, and we'll continue to get through this historically challenging moment together. During a crisis, though, so much of this is still so hard. We know that too many Nashvillians will remain without power at their homes coming into another cold weekend, and we're doing everything we can to clear paths for NES to get to outage sites. We're also working with countless partners to assist anyone who cannot stay safely in their homes. Above all, make the choices right now that keep you and your family safe. The number of people offering temporary hospitality in their homes to neighbors, friends, and families is heartwarming. That's the warmth so many of us need right now. We're again joined by our partners at the United Way today. Nashville businesses are continuing to step up with pledged donations to the Winter Storm Recovery Fund. For example, our Nashville Predators shared how to donate at last night's game. The Preds are stepping up in other ways too. They'll be opening the arena today to support those without power, and they're planning other ways to support our community throughout the weekend. I'd like to ask Bill Wickett, Chief Marketing Officer for the Nashville Predators, to share more details. Bill, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of the Nashville Predators and Bridgestone Arena, we're proud to be able to do what we can to help everybody in need. Today we open the arena at 11:30. It will be open from 11:30 to 4:30 for anybody that would like to come in and get warm, fill a bottle of water, charge some cell phones, and we're also serving meals today. So anybody is welcome at the arena from 11:30 to 4:30 today. In addition, we're hosting two Harlem Globetrotters basketball games tomorrow at 2 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. We're pleased to make 500 tickets and food vouchers available to individuals and families that would like to attend either of those games. Those tickets and food vouchers can be picked up at Bridgestone Arena box office today from 12 to 5 p.m., at Fordyce Antioch from 2 to 6 p.m., and at Fordyce Center Bellevue from 2 to 6 p.m. Last thing I'd like to add is that we've stood up a website, NashvillePredators.com/Smashville Strong. People can go to that website and make a donation. They can look for ways to volunteer, and we'll continue to populate that page over the coming days so that people have a resource to go to and look for ways that they can help. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill, and thanks to you and the Preds for everything you're doing to support Nashvillians during the storm. Our hotels and short-term rental community are also stepping up to help support residents who need longer-term lodging. We had Dina Ivey from our Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation here with us yesterday. The CVC and the Greater Nashville Hospitality Association continue to work with industry partners to open up more options for local residents needing longer-term accommodations. Yesterday, we shared with you discounted rates in the database that they've been maintaining at visitmusiccity.com. In addition to hotels who are offering deeply reduced rates for residents, I'm pleased to announce that VRBO is now also offering discounted rates. VRBO has created a dedicated page listing local properties with reduced rates, which can be found at vrbo.com/Nashville. And again, those discounted hotels are available at visitmusiccity.com/hotel-local-discounts. Residents without internet access can call the CVC at 615-259-4700 for help locating available discounted hotel rooms. I'm also pleased to share that Airbnb, in partnership with the United Way of Greater Nashville, have partnered to provide free emergency housing to qualifying families impacted by the storm. People in need should contact United Way's 211 to get connected to that program. I'd like to invite Erica Mitchell with the United Way to share more about this program, to update us on requests to 211 and NashvilleResponds.com, as well as progress on our Winter Storm Recovery Fund, and then ask Stephanie Coleman, the CEO of the Nashville Chamber of Commerce, to share brief remarks on how businesses can get engaged. Erica, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor O'Connell. I want to start again by thanking our first responders and linemen who continue to work in the community during this unprecedented severe weather. As you know, yesterday, United Way of Greater Nashville activated the Winter Storm Recovery Fund for Davidson County residents. I can't express enough gratitude to Tractor Supply Company, who made an extraordinary lead gift of $250,000, helping launch the fund with significant early momentum and demonstrating what true corporate leadership looks like. As of this morning, fundraising totals are just over $500,000. And I also want to thank other corporate funders, Bridgestone, Rogers Group, Regions, Comcast, and Delta Dental. Tentatively, in terms of dispersion of funds, our plan is to disperse funds starting early next week once funds have been committed, or once the funds that have been committed are in-house. A list of who receives funds, how much received, and services that nonprofits will be providing will be released when the funding is received and will be available on our website. Again, we will prioritize funding through Nashville Volunteer Organizations Active in Disaster, or VOAD. Those partners, based on the needs that we're seeing with Charity Tracker and our 211 helpline. A little bit of data. As of late yesterday, our week-to-date 211 calls, just over 1,300 calls have been made and a little over 2,000 referrals. The top three needs are shelter, food, and disaster relief. As Mayor shared, we are also happy to announce that Airbnb Foundation will work with our 211 helpline to offer free emergency housing to residents displaced by the winter storm. I want to thank Airbnb for choosing United Way and 211 as a trusted partner. We're working right now on how residents will be able to utilize the program. To share a little bit more background, Airbnb is an independent U.S. nonprofit organization dedicated to connecting people with temporary housing during emergencies. Since 2020, they have supported more than 250,000 people with free emergency stays around the world. Airbnb provides free emergency housing for families who are displaced by crisis or disaster. They also support first responders and relief personnel who are deployed and assist during emergencies. When Airbnb activates for an emergency, they work with governments and nonprofit organizations to identify and refer people in need of temporary housing. Once referred, they issue an Airbnb.org credit that allows the household or responder to book a stay at any available home on the Airbnb platform. Guests must have or create an Airbnb.com account, and each reservation must be made directly by a member of the household who will be staying in the property. If you have been impacted by the recent storm or displaced, please call 211. Another reminder to anyone who lives inside or outside Davidson County who is in need of help, please call 211. You can also visit NashvilleResponds.org. And the 211 call center is open today until 8 p.m., as well as over the weekend between 8 and 5 p.m. I want to encourage anyone who is able to make a donation. The QR code for the Winter Recovery Fund is on the screen. And now I will pass it to Stephanie Coleman.
Erica, thank you so much for all that you and your team at United Way are doing right now. It's helping Nashvillians get back on our feet. At the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce, we also stand ready to support those efforts in every way we can. To our chamber members and large corporate partners, I invite you to join us in supporting Nashvillians by donating to the Winter Storm Response Fund or opening your doors to fulfill help for your neighbors. We also want to recognize that many small businesses are in need of assistance as well. So my call today is to our larger corporate partners. And we want to thank those. Erica mentioned several. We want to thank those companies that have already committed to the fund. Your leadership in this effort is appreciated and is a great example of the service leadership that we know exists in Nashville. I also want to recognize so many businesses that have opened their doors for those impacted, providing warmth, food, phone charging, lodging discounts, and so much more. And most importantly, you've provided community and connection at a time when we need it most. This morning, the Chamber sent out a survey to our members to assess initial impact to business, and we'll be sharing that survey with our partners to get a broad understanding of the needs of businesses right now, particularly our small business community, because we know that in the weeks and months after we get back on our feet, Nashvillians will step up to support our local businesses, the backbone of our economy. Thank you for what you're doing already and what you'll continue to do to help keep Nashville strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie and Erica. We're incredibly grateful to have community partners who can come together with local government in such an impactful way for the city and the people we all love. In addition to the temporary housing resources outlined just now, we continue to operate 24-hour shelters at the Bellevue Community Center, Madison Community Center, Southeast Community Center, and the Nashville Fairgrounds. These centers will be open and operational throughout the weekend. We'll also continue to provide transportation to and from these warming centers for those who need support throughout the weekend. And we've added more transportation options to help people get there. WeGo has contributed a van for us to add to our fleet of vehicles that are helping anyone without power get to a shelter. The number to call if you need transportation assistance to one of our active shelters is 615-401-1712. My thanks to WeGo for stepping up and adding to our fleet of vans helping transport Nashvillians. And I want to thank the National Guard who have joined us in Nashville over the past few days for their help in clearing debris and ensuring linemen can get to severely impacted locations. You can see a few photos of the Guard here working today with NDOT and NES crews. I know they were in Bellevue this morning. Every contribution brings us one step closer to getting power back online for everyone. For another hour, Second Harvest Food Bank is holding a food distribution drive at the Nashville Farmers Market. We've got 10 food truck partners there, also serving free food to anyone in need. In metro openings, most of our libraries are also back open today. While they're great indoor recreational activity for families and a place to go get books and magazines and other media, they can also be a place for warmth. Most library locations are open today until 4 p.m. Libraries will also be open on Saturday at an adjusted schedule of 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. Head to library.nashville.gov for more information on open locations and hours. Through the weekend, our Office of Homeless Services will continue to operate their emergency overflow shelter for 24 hours a day. What we're working toward in all corners of the county is a no wrong door approach to helping all Nashvillians. We want you to have access to resources if they are not available right now in your home. We want to make sure that we are there to be able to assist you with either acute needs or longer-term needs. Erica mentioned how the needs tracker has already started to receive requests since we highlighted it yesterday, again through NashvilleResponds.com. You can fill out a form, share what your needs are, and our team at VOAD will reach out to individuals directly to help respond. Director Chief Swan from our Office of Emergency Management is here with us again. I know you've been logging some long days, so we appreciate your diligence in keeping us updated on the latest impacts of all of our work. Director Chief Swan.
So I have a couple of briefings and information I'd like to give out. Number one, we will talk a little bit about this upcoming weather. Temperatures will plummet once again this weekend with over 60 consecutive hours of below freezing temperatures that are expected. Wind chills will be below zero, especially overnight. We will see snow showers on and off Friday afternoon through Saturday. Accumulations of a dusting to 1.5 inches are likely in the Middle Tennessee area, and then east of I-65 with 1 to 2 inches on the Cumberland Plateau. My key message, and concerns. Slick travel is a concern, especially across the plateau Friday night through Saturday. With cold temperatures persisting, make sure you are safe and you dress appropriately. As far as our shelter updates, we continue to provide safe shelters for our communities. Since we've started providing shelters, we have transported more than 970 people across 740 calls for transportation. Overnight, we had more than 380 people in our warming shelters in 4 locations. We opened up a new shelter in Bellevue. You heard the mayor speak on it, the Bellevue Community Center. So remember, we provide transportation to and from the shelters. For a ride, please call that special hotline, 615-401-1721. We want to thank our partnership with the Office of Emergency Management, the Nashville Fire Department, our Metro Police Department, Davidson County Sheriff Office, Metro Schools, and our WeGo partnership for getting the hotline set up and running and providing safe, reliable transportation to all of our shelters. I do have one more message pertaining to waste services. Trash pickup is resuming in areas that are accessible for their trucks. That means that they will not be able to get to everywhere immediately, but they will try to complete all trash pickups by the end of this weekend. Thanks to all of our partners and our residents for supporting each other. Together, we're stronger together, so let's work hard to make sure that we work with each other as we get through this process. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Philip Jones, the Deputy Director for the Nashville Department of Transportation. Just kind of give you a little update on kind of where we're at and what we're doing from the Nashville Department of Transportation. We've got 46 crews working throughout the county. That's countywide. That includes TDOT. We really appreciate our partnership with TDOT. We've got some guard out there, if you've seen in some of the pictures, working alongside with our crews. We'll be continuing that through the weekend. That's from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. that we're running those crews. We have additional crews that we're running overnight that are working close and coordinating with NES as their needs come on board after hours. Multiple inspectors out assessing damage to transportation infrastructure around the city. NDOT's number one priority is supporting power restoration efforts, and the bulk of our resources are dedicated to those efforts at this time. NDOT crews are working 24/7, clearing roads across the county, focusing on tree limb vegetation removal in close coordination with NES. NDOT does not clear or remove fallen tree limbs or vegetation on private property. We need, on the traffic signals, I've got signal crews out that are making some repairs. We've still got a lot of outages as far as power, making sure that everybody is aware that traffic signals lacking power, dark intersections should always be treated as a four-way stop. There are some streets that have been inaccessible due to downed vegetation. As these obstructions are cleared, NDOT crews will be treating roadways in close coordination with NES. Our crews are working side by side with them. We've got at the OEM, we've got our staff and their staff are sitting side by side. We're coordinating what trees are cleared. I want to bring up one thing that we've talked about multiple times. The homes that have generators, and we've ran into this, where if NES is cleared that the power is safe for our crews to come in and cut and clear, if they have a generator that's wired in improperly, it's back feeding into the power lines. We have methods trying to be safe to make sure that those lines are clear, but when you run into that, if these generators are not wired into the home properly, they back feed through those wires, which create electricity out on where they're running across the trees where we have down lines. We're having those issues. So we just ask to make sure that if you have a generator wired into your home, that it's been properly wired in. NDOT is scheduling special collections for vegetation and will announce those dates in the coming days. There are no size guidelines for vegetation brush, but piles should not block utility infrastructures, culverts, storm drains, or drainage ditches. We will be getting back with everyone, giving you a schedule, time for pickup, and we just want to make sure as we're clearing, there's still a lot of roads that are treacherous, so we want to continue, as we're clearing them, we're continuing to salt those. We are prepared for the threat of inclement weather coming in this weekend. We're hauling salt into our salt facilities today, getting back prepared for any type of event that comes over the weekend. Thank you. I'll turn it back over to the mayor.
Thank you, Philip. Thanks to the NDOT team and Director Chief Swan. We know Director Potter, so many teams are working 24/7 right now, and their work has ensured that we've all been able to get around the city to get to resources, a warm place to stay, or a convenient place to get a bite to eat. And I just want to be clear, Nashville, we have been adding resources every single day to ensure that you're supported, have what you need, and can come out of this period safe and taken care of by your community. It can be events like this that make it hard to stay at home when you are not with power for so many days. We've lived through it ourselves in previous natural disaster at our house. But it's not hard to call Nashville home when you see how many people, Nashvillians, the partners, the teams within Metro working 24/7, many of whom are also dealing with the impacts of this storm, all love this city. The last week, while incredibly challenging, has been an important reminder of that. So thank you all. Stay safe, stay warm, and stay Nashville strong. With that, we'll turn it over to Alex for moderating some questions. Stay up here.
Thank you, everybody. We'll try to get to as many as possible. Some may be best directed to the Nashville Electric Service. My understanding is they have a briefing at 3 o'clock. Steve, we'll start with you. Good to see you.
In the past, warming centers had a cap on them. When the temperature rose above a certain point, warming stations would close. There's a little different situation here because all the people who don't have shelter or don't have warm shelter. What are the parameters going to be for keeping these warming centers open kind of going forward past the weekend?
I'll probably turn to Director Chief Swan, but I want to make sure I'm clarifying. You're talking about general purpose as opposed to like our emergency overflow shelter. All right, Director Chief Swan, you may want to come address that.
Yeah, that is a great question. What we've done is supplemented the shelters that we have. We have Red Cross that are helping to run the shelters, but alongside of that, you got Nashville firefighters in there, along with Metro police officers, so that no one would be turned away. And as the need comes about, we build it out more. So we've got the space and capacity, and we work closely with our Parks Department. And as you know, we have one at the fairgrounds. Monique Odom has been very gracious to us. We opened the Bellevue Center, Community Center, and we've been given the green light on any one of the centers that's needed. We can use it. So we've got the space.
And indefinitely?
We will be there until this is over. Absolutely.
And Steve, I'll follow up on that. We're getting to that end of the emergency declaration that we had last Sunday. That's one of the things that has enabled this expansive process of resources. And similarly, when we get to the more formal recovery process with FEMA, that's one of the things that we will be submitting as just the resources we've been deploying to keep people safe.
Yeah, Cindy.
Is there an update on water main and other resources for people who are surface gas?
I will turn that over to Director Potter of Metro Water Services. Scott?
Thank you, sir. We have 11 main breaks presently. We've got adequate MWS crews as well as contracting crews available to repair them. If people get an emergency status for water supply, I encourage them to contact OEM, and hopefully we can arrange a water delivery. I want to request once again that business owners and homeowners that are unoccupied, businesses and homes, to check for leaks. This morning we found a backflow preventer that was 4 inches in diameter that had failed. So it was a 200 psi, 4-inch hole in a pipe that was really operating at about 500 gallons per minute. That kind of stuff really adds up. So really encouraging people to look for those leaks.
You share the number for if you see a main break.
Oh, yes, sir. 615-862-4600.
Thanks.
And Cindy, we shared on our social media yesterday at Director Potter's guidance some quick steps if you have to leave your home for a long time, a checklist that you can go through to make sure your water is as safe as it can be. Yeah, let's go here.
Mayor O'Connell, why did the city and NS stop doing joint compressors, and what specific benchmarks are you using to judge whether NES's response is acceptable right now?
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. We continue to stay in close contact with NES about the progress we're making. I think we're trying to keep these events focused on new information, and so as they've got new information to share, we're excited to see that process continue. But I think we are very focused on the places we're making progress with Metro's response, and looking forward to seeing NES continue to contribute new information to the conversation.
And many of us reporters were at NES's press conference yesterday. I was asking a lot about how many contractors they have. A lot of other reporters were asking different questions. We didn't get a lot of those questions answered. Do you have anything to say about their kind of lack of response to those questions?
We continue to hope that NES will be prepared to offer you and us and Nashvillians those answers in a better format.
Yeah, let's see. Karen.
Okay, this is for the mayor. So yesterday you had said in terms of NES's leadership, it was successful given the circumstances. I know this report in front of me just mentioned the press conference that went on yesterday. I mean, I understand that you want them to be clear with you as well.
Yeah.
But do you still stand by your statement that you feel like NES's leadership was successful?
Operationally, I mean, we will get to after action. I shared this again yesterday, Karen. We're in the middle of the response, but we know they have been adding capacity every single day, just like we have. We have been adding capacity specifically to support their operations. You just heard Philip talk about that from the NDOT perspective. And then once we have better information in the after action process, we'll be able to make a determination about their total performance.
Is it not enough that 4 people have potentially died from this and tens of thousands are still without power for you to make a definitive answer on whether or not this was handled correctly by NES leaders?
I think, again, we are in the middle of the response. It is the largest outage event in their history, and it's the largest response in their history as well.
And just talking about so you're talking about this, again, we're going back to the the unprecedented nature of it. Yesterday I asked you a similar question. But just take us into the scope of the pre-planning that the city had with NES leaders, and what kind of questions were answered to make sure that NES had things handled before all of this happened?
Just like our Office of Emergency Management has a pre-planning scenario, NES does. I think you've heard Brent talk about that, where they have mutual aid and contracts that they can engage. You know, this winter storm affected multiple sites. I mean, it puts a strain on everybody's ability to get new resources as quickly as they want them, but the plan that they shared with us and the plan that they've executed meant that we have more line workers working in the field than we've ever had in Nashville.
Let's see, front row, Austin.
Yeah, thanks. Talked a little bit earlier about the forecast upcoming with temps getting really low, some potential for snow again, potentially even some accumulation. So I'm wondering if that renews any concerns of roadway management or anything, that maybe we can hear from NDOT about that.
Philip,
Yeah.
you want to take that?
And I'll share as Philip's coming up. Austin, we're keeping an eye on this right now. The weather forecasts we've seen don't suggest ice accumulation, and so I'll let Philip talk about roadways.
Yeah, we've been monitoring close. I mean, we're prepared. We've got material on hands. We've got drivers on standby, and we'll continue to monitor the weather as it gets closer.
And then, Austin, again, following up, we've got not only more plows in the fleet that we've been systematically adding to over the past couple of years, but they are the multiple of them. The majority of those plows are now brand new state-of-the-art equipment that has helped us get to that road clearance activity and will help us again this weekend.
Emily?
I think they have heard us, and I'm still waiting to see the ability to meet our expectations.
When you say they've heard us, what does that mean?
I mean, I think they understand. I think their communications team, I think the people that they are working with as communications partners understand that we have also been frustrated like the city with their response.
And then a follow-up, there's a lot of ambitions in Nashville to show that it can be a city that can support a political convention, a Super Bowl. How, after this, when it's almost been a week when people don't have power, how can you turn to people looking to invest in Nashville and say, we are prepared in a case of emergency to support all of you? And how do you look at residents who often feel overlooked already in favor of tourists and business and say, we are prepared and have the capacity to support all of you, even in unprecedented times?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. This is a resiliency effort that has stretched every bit of the, what's in the playbooks for preparedness, and we are going to do that after action assessment to see where we need to improve further. That's across all measures, not just utility infrastructure, but I'm sure it's going to put renewed pressure on how quickly could we expand beyond 25%, the percent of infrastructure that's buried. It is hard to go through an unprecedented event. I think if you look around the country where you've had extraordinary wildfire scenarios or other major events, any city that goes through this finds their resources taxed, gets through it, and looks at how to do better going forward. We're going to do the same thing.
All right, you were just listening in on the mayor's press conference. He has been doing these daily, just updating all of us on what is happening next, right after this massive winter storm that we all went through and are still dealing with. Some of those highlights that he talked about, and as well as other agencies here in the Metro Nashville area. We know that 4 Nashvillians lost their lives. That's, again, just here in the Davidson County area. They did identify those people as well. They've also started that Winter Storm Recovery Fund. We know a little more than $500,000 has already been donated, and a lot of that money coming from large businesses, one of them being Tractor Supply. One other update, today we learned that Bridgestone Arena has opened their doors. They're currently open right now, and they're offering a warm place for people to come and charge their phones. They're also offering some food vouchers as well. So they are one of the other businesses here in town that are welcoming people to come in along with the Preds with that. They also said with that 500 tickets and food vouchers would be available for the games tomorrow. I believe the Harlem Globetrotters will be having games there. They're offering about 500 tickets. Hotels and short-term rentals, they're trying to assess how many people need to be using those at this point. We know VRBO has opened up some of their pages to discounted rates for people in need of shelter right now, and Airbnb offering free emergency housing for qualified families in partnership with United Way. So this is going to be obviously a very long effort here to restore power not only to our city, but also just to clear all the debris. That was something else that we know that NDOT has been doing alongside the National Guard. They said that they had their crew really just working throughout the night, and they're going to continue that until everything is cleared up and we can all get back to normal. Another thing they addressed during this that I think a lot of people are wondering is, when is my trash going to get picked up? They said that they are working with their crews, the waste management company, to have most of the trash picked up by the end of the weekend, but that's only if those crews are allowed to get through the roadways. Obviously, a lot of our neighborhood roads, you can't even pass through them yourselves. So this, again, going to be an ongoing effort. NES expected to have a press conference later today at 3 p.m. We're watching that. I will say I'm just looking at these NES outages right now. A little less than 70,000 remain without power. Also, they said that if you own a home or a business, if you have not been able to or gone into your business or your home to check to see if you have any water damages, they say please do that. They are also seeing, of course, as we will see probably the next couple days, some burst pipes. So if you can, access your home or your business safely, please do so. We're going to continue to follow the story. Obviously, these daily updates very helpful, trying to figure out what's next for our city.